Hey guys, welcome back to Lifestyle After 5, the Stogie Sesh, the show where we cut through the noise, light up conversation, and discuss all things cigars. I'm your host, Victoria, and as always, we have our in house aficionado, Patrick.
What's going on, guys?
Patrick, as always, it's a pleasure to have you back on the show,
Hmm.
coming in to share your wisdom, all things cigars. So, this week, I want to discuss a pretty crucial accessory that a lot of beginners don't think of until it's like too late. And that's the travel humidor. Like it's a key part to any toolkit
Hmm.
and you want to safeguard your investment. I think that's something that we talk about a lot is safeguarding
Yes,
the investment.
safeguard.
So let's get into it. Now, first off, one can argue, oh, well, I'm just going to go to the lounge. It's 10 minutes down the road. Do I even need a travel humidor?
Hmm.
I mean, is that something you agree with? Like, at what point, be it a 10-minute drive, an hour drive, some errands, at what point do you think it goes from, oh, this would be nice to have, like, oh, I need to have this?
I mean, so it's kind of like if you're going to a cigar shop just to grab some cigars and go back home, totally don't need to travel humidor.
Hmm.
But if you plan on maybe staying at the humidor or the club a little longer, the lounge, it might be good investment. I know they give you the Ziploc bags. They don't give you Bovita, or some sort of humidification. So when you're carrying a travel case, you usually want to carry that with you. Or some of them have built in, put a little bit of distilled water in there and you just kind of go on. But I say if you're going to be on the road or, you're going to be out, just out, like if you're not going straight back home, it would be good just to have a travel humidor just to protect your investment because you're going to have a Ziploc bag and decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to go see my friend. I'm just going to throw my bag in the
Hmm.
car. And in Texas, your car get up to like 120 degrees, so it's going to dry out the cigars. It's going to, it could promote problems within the cigar. So now I'm not saying that a travel humidor won't limit heat, but with a travel humidor, you can actually take it with you.
Hmm.
So if you're running into a store and you have a bag with you, you can just put it in your bag and kind of, just take off. Also, you can carry your accessories in some of the travel humidors, which kind of makes it, a plus
Even
one.
better.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that was my argument is because I know when we go to the lounge, we always don't just go to the lounge. We make a few stops along
Hmm.
the way. We make a few stops on the way back home. So I think that's why you invested pretty early on a
Yes.
travel humidor. I think you had that before you had a regular humidor, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
It's
essential.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier. So, in the newsletter, which if y'all haven't read it yet, you need to subscribe and read our newsletters. I listed the top three brands
Hmm.
according to you. An opinion here, guys.
Yes.
So, we listed Herf,
Uh huh.
Zycar, and Bovita.
Yeah.
In your opinion, again, what makes these three stand out amongst other brands? And do you feel that there's other brands that should be on this list as well?
So the difference is I guess more of an innovation type thing. So, Herf has some really different things. They just came out with it's called a tumbler.
Hmm.
It looks like a big old cup, but it is a humidor. You can store your cigar accessories in the bottom, six cigars at top. It has its own humidification.
Kind of looks like a Stanley, right?
Yep, it's a big Stanley. It fits
Is
in your cup
this
holder.
the unboxing video that
Yes,
you did for
this
our
is
viewers?
this is an unboxing video. It is
Gotta
up.
subscribe, guys. You're
Yeah.
missing some good stuff.
And it's brand new. It's really cool. I like it. But that's something about Herf is they're kind of innovative. I also have a travel bag with it.
Hmm.
It's by Herf Apparel. Um, Carries four cigars, but it's a bag with a built-in humidor. Which it's okay if I'm just gonna go have four cigars. I'm not gonna take anything extra, and that's kind of where it stands out. Zycar, they're been a brand for a long time. Most of their accessories come with a lifetime warranty.
Hmm.
So if anything happens to them, definitely could turn it in, grab a new one, or whatever the process. I haven't had to turn one in yet because
That's a good
everything's
thing.
been pretty dependable. But Zycar too, and they have bigger volumes you can take. So they have up to the 5, all the way up to 40, 80, even a suitcase full. So there's a big. It's just really depending. When I went to the Cigar Festival, could I have used a big suitcase?
Yes.
Probably, but you got to live and learn. So, and then Bovita. Bovita has a bag, right?
Hmm.
So with the bag, it's a fancy Ziploc bag, like a lot of people think it is, but really
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
it holds the humidity really well,
Hmm.
and you can use it for you can use it as a humidor anywhere. You just got to make sure you kind of
Upkeep it.
upkeep
Like,
the
mhm.
temperature. Your Bovita, but with the Bovita pack, it should last even longer in there. Um, but yeah, so and that's what they usually give out. Like at festivals, they'll give you a Bovita bag. It's called a humidor bag, so
Hmm.
technically you can take it anywhere you want.
True.
Um, so out of the three, I like Hearst innovation. I like Zycard dependability, and Bovita is just it's just one of those things to have if you need extra room, or if you know what you're going
It's
to give some cigars. Even like if I give some cigars to somebody who's starting out, I'll give them the Bovita bag. Maybe they don't have a humidor.
that's very true.
You can use this Bovita bag for up to a year.
I
Um,
feel Bovita is like, I'm thinking of the word convenient.
yes,
It's very convenient to have those.
yes. So Bovita is very convenient. So like it really, once again, it all goes personal
Personal
preference.
preference.
I myself have bigger ones that that are outside of this. You have your Apache cases, and those come
Hmm.
up. And these are cases that you can store other items in, but they're repurposed
As
as a travel humidor.
okay,
Um,
kind of like you do the Tupperware
yes, just like the
trick, right?
Tupperware, the
Okay.
your Tupperware. Apache's one of Harbor Freight's brands. I have one, and it holds about maybe 15 to 16 cigars, and it
Hmm.
has a Spanish cedar insert. It's good for traveling because it's pressurized. So
Oh,
you
so
can
when you're
release the
on the
pressure. So
okay.
when you're going, if you're in a plane and you have your cigars on you, you can release the pressure so it doesn't mess up any of the
Hmm.
cigars. Another one is the Pelican. A lot of these are repurposed as well. They're the rough box. They have different sizes. These are convenient. Holds about 10. They have a tray up top, and you can put your accessories on top. So you have one case that holds everything in it. There's other ones. You have Herfador has a couple. Bigger ones, but I think outside of the three main ones, I do think my Apache, not the Apache, the Pelican works really well. It's crush proof. The Apache's crush proof too. It's really dependable. The seal is real tight. So if I'm traveling, that's the one I want.
Okay.
If I'm going to like a small humidor, say Cigar International, and I have 6 sticks, I'll take the Herf.
Hmm.
If we're going out somewhere nice, I'll take my black leather bag, the Herf bag, 4 sticks, carry my lighter and my cutter in there, even some of your sticks in there. So it really just depends again, and you have a travel case as well. It holds about 4 cigars, and it's from Drew State.
It's the Dominicana one. So many.
No,
It's
no, it's not
no.
the man. It's the Sweet Jane.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a Sweet Jane one. Carries 4 cigars. It carries all the accessories.
Hmm.
It's black, and it kind of looks like a carry purse. So
Yeah.
I mean, just from the travel humidors to just a carrying case, it
Hmm.
just really depends preference, what you're looking for. If you're going far, um, these will help you out in the long run. Having a bag like that, you can put in your purse and still go around.
Hmm.
Like as where my Apache and my Pelican, they're a little bit bigger, so I would need to take an extra bag just for those.
Yeah.
So it just depends what you're doing. Like if you want to go, I like to take extra cigars because I give them out to people.
Hmm.
Or if I'm going to a lounge, I'll buy a couple because I'm not going to be that person just go and smoke and not buy anything. I like to support. I like to support my local
You gotta
lounges.
at least buy one.
Yes.
Like you can't just go and not buy anything.
Yeah. So
Now in the newsletter I wrote, and this is my opinion. I feel like the Zycar cases, and now that you mention it, Pelican and Apache, they're very much for the rough and tumble type. Like if you're, the type like you're the type sometimes you
Yeah.
get in the truck and you just throw stuff in the back seat. How would you describe the ideal user for the Herf tumbler, or even kind of touched on the Bovita?
Yeah.
Somebody is new to the game,
Hmm.
Bovita's good to have. But in terms of like the Herb tumbler, how would you describe the ideal user for that? Is that someone who travels frequently? Is that?
So the Herf tumbler, that would be for, I wouldn't say somebody who travels frequently, but I'd say somebody who travels, not even really travels. They're going to go to a
Just like
place,
quick trips?
quick trips, a weekend trip because it holds
Mhm.
6 cigars. Most of the places you're going to go to, they're going to have a cigar lounge somewhere around, so you
So you
can
can always buy
refill.
more.
It, like I said, it holds 6 cigars. It's not going to be your, um, it's not going to hold a hellacious amount. It does have foam inserts, so it'll protect your cigars. That's one thing you also got to remember. Some of these, like your Zycar, they have foam in them, whereas my Apache and my Pelican, they don't have foam in them.
Mhm.
But that's my personal preference because I put the sticks in there. I want to have extra sticks, give them out, or if I
Yeah.
just want to have that variety. So the Herf, I believe, would be somebody who wants to do like a weekend trip. Just going out maybe to the beach. That would be perfect. It
Hmm.
already looks like a big ass cup anyway. So,
That's true. That's
um, it-
exactly what I thought of when I
yeah.
saw it.
So it's not going to be any different than what you carry. It's going to keep the humidity. Of course, being outside, temperature obviously is going to fluctuate, but that isn't a real big concern because the temperature needs to be a certain temperature for a certain long amount of time before
Yeah.
anything happens.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing like soon.
Yeah.
But
So the
so
Herf, like I said, Herf is for somebody who's taking a weekend trip out of town real quick, beach.
So what I'm getting is her more like a weekend smoker.
Yeah.
That's that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
You're traveling to a festival, and of course, you pack your travel humidor with some of your favorite smokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, besides protecting the cigars you bring, what role does the travel humidor play when you acquire new cigars at the festival itself?
So this is so if you're taking okay, so from my experience going to the festivals, I take my travel humidor.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm gonna have cigars in it, so I can smoke. But I do have room. I can put more in there. They give out cigars, or you buy a sample pack, two or three, four cigars, and you can put them in there because when you take a travel humidor, you can have it with the Bovita, or you can
Hmm.
have it the humidification you like. And when you do that, you can put the stick in there that you want to smoke. Just let it sit in there, kind of absorb it, or because you got to remember these cigars are getting transferred all over the world. A lot of the boxes don't have Bovita in it, so you got to let it.
You gotta
And
let it sit for a
yeah,
bit,
you got to
right?
let it
Yeah.
sit for a bit. You can. Some people smoke it straight out of the box. It's personal preference once again, but I think it really does play a crucial role if you want to smoke them
Hmm.
within that time that you get them, or within however long you're staying there. So I think that would be kind of crucial, so you can like kind of get it accumulated. If you're going to a cigar festival, like I said, they do give you Bovita bags.
Now, you say they give you Bovita bags. Is that like every purchase
No.
you make? So not all of the vendors
Yes,
will give out a Bovita bag.
that's
So
correct.
it's good to have that
Yeah.
backup. And I mean, depending on how much you buy and how avid of a smoker you are, you may even want to take a second travel humidor.
I mean, yeah, you can like it's not you're going with friends too, right? So
Yeah.
some people aren't equipped. Like I'll lend out my humidor here. Just send it back to me, or just shoot me. Give it to me when you're done. So yeah, having that extra would help. Do they carry a hellacious amount? Not so much, especially if you're buying a lot. The amount I bought of the last one, yeah, that didn't. My little travel humidor didn't even touch it. But I mean, that's because I bought what I wanted. Um,
But again, too, like you're going there, you're buying a bunch of cigars. It's not necessarily meant to smoke. I mean, you can, like you
Yeah.
said, smoke it right then and there. But when you're buying a large amount, you
Yeah.
already have it in your mind, like, okay, well, these are going to go home and sit in
Hmm.
my humidor,
Exactly.
So, I mean, that makes sense.
Like with the festival, most cigar festivals, when you get general admission, VIP, they'll give you a bag and it'll
Mhm.
have cigars in it, and it'll have the Bovita with the cigars. They'll have a Bovita pack in there, depending on the amount. Like the last one I went had 80 cigars in it, so it a bag can fit up to 100 cigars.
Wow.
So um, that's good for just if you have something to put it in, you can't rough and tough the bag because
Yeah.
there's no outside protection. So
You can hurt the sticks that way.
yes,
You
you
really
can.
can. So now we talked a lot about temperature being a key factor,
Hmm.
right? So how do you manage humidification differently when traveling from cold, dry climate to hot, humid and vice versa? Like different
So
states have different
yeah, I
temperatures.
mean, and that's a big thing. The good thing with the travel humidors is they're very adaptive, right? So um, if you're going from hot to cold, um, it could be a little bit of a difference, especially like a super cold place or super warm, like say here in Texas, and we're going out to Colorado when it's snowing. That
Yeah.
could be a little bit of an issue because the temperature change, but it shouldn't cause too many issues, especially since most of these travel humidors do have a seal, so it shouldn't affect the humidity, right? So everything's based on relative humidity. You have humidors at home, you have humidors that you're traveling with. Everything's based off relativity humidity. So whatever humidity is out here, if you have your things open, it's gonna accumulate to that. So from cold to hot, same scenario. It shouldn't cause condensation in cigars unless you're keeping them outside at 30 degrees, or
Yeah, let's
your
not do that.
humidor, your electric humidor is at 50 degrees and you go to somewhere where it's 100. That could cause issues.
Now, I would imagine the other factor that plays into it is the amount of time that you plan on, I guess, spending in that
Oh
in
yes.
that type of climate, rather. So, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to Colorado for the weekend. It's snowing. Something's going to happen to the cigars. Like
Yeah.
it would take more time than just that, right?
Oh yeah. And like going to the festival, about the boxes, they go through those humidity changes. Or even when you buy them online, like you're literally buying from one place and they're shipping it to you.
And so along the way, you're
It-
changing.
you're changing temperature zones. You're changing. Some of them will put Vovita bags in there.
Some
Some of them
don't.
won't. So that's why it's important to let your cigars rest. Depending on what you want, right? So, but from heat to cold, these and you got to remember the tobacco. It's grown in humid, hot environments. It's like
Mhm.
kind of like a jungle. So they're already made in the heat.
Yeah.
So bringing them to colder, it could cause condensation, right? So it shouldn't happen overnight. It shouldn't happen within a couple days. It's not going to hurt it. But if there's ever anything that you feel like, hey, you know what, I think this has been exposed too long, throw it in your humidor that you already have accumulated. And if you do see condensation in your cigars, kind of separate them, put them in with a Bovita pack. It'll soak it up. Might need to keep it in there a little longer just to make sure all that extra moisture is out of there. But you're not going to ruin a cigar within a week or 2 weeks because you got to remember some of these things take
Yeah.
months to get over here,
Yeah, that's
and they're on
true.
shipping containers from Costa Rica or where Dominican Republic. So it's not going to mess it up within a week. You
Hmm.
got to it got to be exposed to the right temperature, and and it's not only that. Like if it's the right temperature, the right humidity. Say if you're sitting at 75 degrees and it's 75 humidity, there's a chance to grow cigar beetles, right? And it's a
It
plant.
happens.
It's
Yeah.
a plant, right?
So
So
now, before we get too far into that,
mhm.
I have a question on that. What are some signs that your humidity may be off? What are signs that you see on the cigar, within the cigar, that indicate
Oh, so
that it's off?
so once again, you'll feel it. Like if it's over humidified, you'll feel spongy.
Okay.
So to feel spongy, When you're cutting it, it's gonna not cut correctly. If it's over humidified, it's gonna look wet.
Okay.
So, um, and when you're lighting it, you can get your first couple puffs, you can get it going, but it's gonna have to keep on lighting it because it's wet. It's wet tobacco.
Mhm.
So that's one big,
Indication.
indications that it's over humidified. And you can dry box cigars when that happens. Just put them in an empty, cigar box or wooden box, and just let the
Let it
moisture get
dry out
soaked
a
up. Yeah.
little. Okay.
On the other end, where it's doesn't have enough humidity, you're gonna get cracking
Mm-hmm.
on your.
Like,
Also when it's too wet, you're gonna get a bitter taste because
um,
you're getting, you get that the humidification, get all the moisture mixed with the tobacco, and it doesn't make a good flavor. Um, but on the other end, like I said, so when it's under humidified, you'll get cracking.
mm-hmm.
You'll get uneven burns too fast. Um,
The uneven burns, that's where you see like one side of the cigar is like burned all the way
yes,
up, and
like it's
then
kind of like a zigzag on your
yeah.
burn line. You'll see different color ash. It'll be a lot lighter on the
Mm-hmm.
ash because it's burning faster. The smoke will be hotter. So
Different little signs.
it's different little sign, but it's completely opposite. So one you'll know like it's squishy. The other one you'll know it's
Too
kind of
dry.
tough. You'll
Mm-hmm.
feel the toughness in it. One you'll notice when you're puffing it, it's got a bitter taste. The other one it's going to be a little too hot. And some people they want their cigars, you know, less humidified, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how they enjoy them. And that's perfectly fine. If you like a wetter cigar, that's
Well, I
com-
mean, I guess there's a difference between less humidified
yes,
and
yes, definitely. There is a big difference, but um,
so the Beatles.
okay.
Actually, it's a two-part question. So one, can you explain the Beatles to us?
Hmm.
And two, I know you said like if it's over humidified, you can dry box it. You
Hmm.
can, if it's dry, you put it in the humidifier. How do you know that the cigar is just too far gone to even try to save? So, but Beatles first.
So, I mean, you got to remember these are plants. They
Mm-hmm.
don't use pesticides on these plants because
Well,
we're
because
smoking
you're
it.
smoking it. Yeah.
Um, they do still go through, a process, and sometimes an egg kind of gets under one of the leaves, and they're not under a microscope, so it happens. But when you keep it at a certain temperature and a certain humidification, they don't grow. They won't hatch. They won't grow. Um, and that's why they say it's important to have it. And once again, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a week. It takes a while. It takes a while. Being at the higher temperature, higher humidity, it takes a while for it to develop.
Mm-hmm.
It's not instantaneous. So if your humidor breaks down overnight, or you don't have any water
It's
in
not
it,
going to happen
it's
right
not going
away.
to happen right away.
So, I mean, like, are you talking one or two Beatles?
So
How big are they?
it's really tiny. So one indicator is you're gonna see a little hole in
Mm-hmm.
your cigar, and it's no bigger than a pinprick.
So I'm thinking almost like the worm in an apple type of thing.
Yes, it's really small, but if you do have them, it could be a bigger indication that you have an infestation.
Oh, so you gotta check your other
Yes, you got to
cigars.
start checking your other cigars.
Separate that one.
Make sure you separate it. And if you do have an infestation, there are some ways to get rid of them. You can throw them in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like
Cold.
cold.
Yeah.
You can put it like in a Ziploc bag because the refrigerator it sucks all the humidity out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're so cold. So keep it in there with and it'll suck everything out. But yeah, they can ruin somebody's collection. So that's why it's very important to have the right humidity and the
Humidity.
right temperatures.
So with that being said, at what point do you know the cigar is too far gone to try to save?
And that's tough because some people have saved cigars that have been sitting 5, 6, 10 years.
Wow.
It is a process though. It's not like something like I said you can't have. It's a month, 2 month, 3 month process. You can always try to bring. Will it smoke the same? It probably won't. But you can kind of tell when it's too far gone. The wrapper, it's
Just
flaking
falling apart.
off. You know, You see mold. That's also another indicator. You
Yeah, I
know.
wouldn't smoke anything with mold on it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah. So I mean, those are you can they're telltale signs. You can
Mhm.
try to bring them back to life if that's what you want to do, but most of the time, if it's not something that I spend $100 on, then I don't think it's worth the time.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if you spend like 100 or more, you're gonna want to Frankenstein your
Yes.
way to bringing that
Yes,
one back
definitely
to life.
Frankenstein that shit.
But I mean, aside from that, yeah, that makes sense. So don't freak out about the beetles, guys. If you're dramatic like me, I of course pictured like beetles crawling out of a cigar. I know you had that issue, right? The other day with
Yeah.
one
I've
cigar.
had one, so I had to
Yeah.
go and check all my cigars. Thank God it was just isolated to one. But I still do. I do monthly checks. You know, I rotate everything once a month, so I'm always checking and
So
making
the
sure.
rotating,
Hmm.
like because the humidors have shelves,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, does it humidify differently depending on where
So
it's at, or like
it,
why rotate them? I
it's like
guess.
your house,
Uh-huh.
humidity and heat rise.
Oh, yeah.
So say you do have a whole bunch of bovita or an electronic humidor, your bottom's always going to be lower because that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
So your top's going to be a little higher. So those top ones, you want to rotate it to the bottom. So now they're getting the same humidification, and just kind of do that. So there's
You
different
just
temperature zones, different humidification zones. That's why it's always good to have digital hygrometers or
yeah.
something that's always monitored.
So I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
stop you there. Only because this gives me an idea, and I think that this should be a point of view video that you do for our paid subscribers who get premium content. You can do a monthly rotation of your cigars and show everybody out there
How it's
how
done?
it's done. Yeah.
I could definitely do that.
Yeah. So you got to love the point of views. Those meta glasses are amazing. We've been
Yes.
having a lot of fun with those. Um, so let's go back to the Bovita bag. I'm like so intrigued by the Bovita bag because it really is a fancy Ziploc bag.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's convenient, but compared to the Zycar and the Herf, what are some of its limitations? I know one of the things we already discussed is it's a bag.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just like tossing it around, you're going to mess up your cigars. But I mean, I guess aside from that, it holds its own in terms of doing the same thing as the others, right?
Yeah. The other thing is it's more susceptible to heat
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's not protected.
Yeah.
Like with the Zycar and all that, they're
Like
they're
insulated.
insulated.
Yeah.
They have a heat will take a little bit longer to get to it. Don't get me
Whereas the
wrong.
bag,
Yes.
yeah, especially if you just like, I mean, in Texas, you don't want to have a Bovita bag and just leave it in your vehicle.
Yeah. No.
Like,
If you would leave your cigars in your
yeah.
vehicle,
I mean, I know
shit
even you're really
kicked.
careful, like even when you have your Herf bag or the Zycar,
I take it.
Yeah, if we know that we're gonna be out of the vehicle for a while, he's like,
No.
I'm just gonna take it. So
No, once it gets cooler, it's a little
yeah, it's different.
It's different, but once again, Texas cars get up to 120 degrees inside, so it's not nice.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, I think that's it in terms of travel humidors. Patrick, this has been incredibly insightful as usual. So the main takeaway here is pretty clear. Whether you're running errands across town, you're flying across the country, protecting your cigar investment, it's like a non-negotiable.
Yes.
I mean, you're putting money into this stuff, So thanks for breaking down the options for us.
Of course.
That helps a lot. And that's all the time that we have for now with this edition of Lifestyle After 5, the Stogie Sesh. I'm your host, Victoria, and until next time, keep them stocked and smoke them slow.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, guys.
See you later.